From the NewsTalkSTL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Schowalter. On tonight's episode, radio personality Daria Novak, our liberal friend Bill McClellan, and the Right Mind studio band Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now, putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Schowalter.
Garbage and trash. That's what we are, Joey. Garbage and trash. I like being garbage. Do you understand? I mean, that's the latest thing, because you mentioned off the air that you thought we were weird.
Weird garbage.
Weird garbage. That's what we are now. We've gone from weird to garbage. I like being garbage. Yeah, I've been called worse than that before. He's getting a lot of mileage out of this. It started with what? This whole Puerto Rico joke or something like that? Tell the story.
Well, there's this comedian that some people don't find that funny, but, he's out there. He hangs out with Joe Rogan. His name's Tony Hinchcliffe. And he's got this really popular podcast called Kill Tony, where a comedian or aspiring comedian comes up, tells a joke for 1 minute, does a little set, and then everyone on the panel roasts this guy. So this Tony Hinchcliffe guy is really known for roasting people and being very mean. And he told one of his roast jokes in front of a venue of people that had no idea the comedy was about to happen in Madison Square Garden. And, oh, boy, it blew up in his face. He said that there's a floating island of garbage out there in the Pacific, also known as Puerto Rico.
Well, that's true.
Not a terrible joke, but there is a true story that Puerto Rico has had some hard times, and they have a lot of garbage there. They don't know where to put it. So it's been argued that this is more of an environmental joke, that he's pointing out some of the truthiness that's over there in Puerto Rico. We should help them out, clean them up. But the Democrats have used it in their attack ads, their campaign ads, and then Joe Biden didn't get the joke at all.
No, he didn't. He turned around, and Cam's, I mean, that same day, she's out there, unity. And then there's Joe. All those Trump supporters are a bunch of garbage. Get off my lawn. So that's Joe, okay? And so now he's ruined everything, but Donald Trump, I mean, he's riding around in a trash can now, wearing trash collector outfits and stuff, and he's milking this thing because he wants to support us because we're all garbage.
And it's made this Halloween, the day that we're recording this is Halloween.
Yes, it is.
Very, very easy for conservatives because everyone has a trash bag. They just hopefully cut a hole in it. I don't think you just put it over your head and then walk around.
You can't do that.
Got to cut some holes for your head, for your arms, and then you walk around. And people are just living it up, like, we're garbage people. And this costume cost me a nickel.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And if it rains, which there was like a tornado that went through today, you're protected that way also.
Was it really a tornado? That is something. Because the alarm, the sirens went off in the middle of the night. This really happened. I looked at my wife. I said, I think that's the tornado siren. She said, yeah, it is a tornado siren. And then we both just went back to sleep.
Get your gun and go back to bed. The tornado comes in, just start blasting.
I'm looking down at am I bleeding like I was that last time? I don't see any blood.
Your car bit you in the garage last time.
Garage.
You lost your little notes. You didn't know who was on the show today. We had to do the voices for all three people that came on.
That's right, exactly. Well, today I'm bleeding because I'm trying to find where it's coming from. Because we have Juice the dog, okay, Juice the puppy, okay, that my son Blake, couldn't wait to get, but we're babysitting it or dog sitting it again. And this puppy is like it's a mix between a black lab and an elephant, okay, because it's basically doubled in size in 48 hours.
That'll happen.
It is huge. It's absolutely huge, and it loves everybody, and it jumps on you, and it bites and everything. And it's like it's gone from being a cuddly little puppy to like a middle linebacker with teeth.
They always say, it's just puppy teeth. It doesn't hurt that much. And acupuncturists, they pay for that sort of soothing feeling of being stabbed 1,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Juice, for just relaxing everyone.
Well, I'm just bleeding. I'm a mess all over the place. That's my new thing coming into the station. But I got to, thank goodness that, children, when they're born, aren't like puppies. Can you imagine, if 2-month-old babies were mobile and they had sharp teeth and they were running around biting you and things like that? It'd be horrible. I don't think you'd have anybody that would want to be a parent.
There wouldn't be a nipple left in this world, at least on the women's side.
Oh, exactly. Well, no, not only that, it's almost like a guard dog because it knows when it jumps on you right where to go, right between the old legs, going right for the old sackaroo there. And boy, you can feel that.
You should get some egg insurance in case the dog does bite down too hard.
Oh, egg insurance. That reminds me. You were talking about how it's Halloween. Did I tell you about our egg insurance plan that I had when I was a kid?
Sounds like something I would need.
Oh, you really did need it, because this is another true story, because once again, everything on the Right Mind show is 94.2% correct and true. When I was a kid, okay, it was probably, I don't know, either 24. No, I was about 10 years old, okay. I had this great idea where we would go door to door and we would say, look, we will sell you egg insurance. What's egg insurance? Well, for $5, $5, and that was a deal at the time. For $5, if anyone eggs your house on Halloween, we will come back the following day and clean it up. And the people would always say, nah, I don't think so.
What are the odds I would need that?
Yeah, right. But we would say, are you sure you don't want this egg insurance?
It'd be a shame if something would have happened to your house and your siding and your stuff and your windows.
Exactly. And they thought, this is a real rotten little kid. And they'd fork over the old $5, and I collected, and I really made a lot of moolah on Halloween.
And it sounded like it wasn't a real business, because you didn't keep a spreadsheet of the houses
Nope.
that had paid already, just
Nope.
in case you wanted to retaliate the next day, which it wasn't that kind of business.
No way.
But wink, wink, it was.
No, it's just like the bike shop where we stole the kid's wheel, and he was so stupid that he didn't realize that it had been stolen, and he came over to my bike shop the next day and wanted to buy a wheel, which we just happened to have because we took it the day before. I would probably be in the penitentiary these days, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. I would take the egg insurance, and then I would just egg my car and my dishes, and I'd say, oh, Todd, I need you to come back and just really hose everything down and wash these dishes.
That's when I had that all planned, because we had the little kids that were also fake lawyers. We had everybody was going to protect us. Say we're under investigation and we can't come and do anything because, hey, we may be doing time in the pen.
We declared bankruptcy overnight. I don't know what happened. It was really built on something faulty.
Bankrupt. That's kind of like the Redbox thing. You mentioned that Redbox. I was going to talk about Netflix here in a second, but you brought up Redbox earlier, that they're bankrupt. I didn't. Those are those giant things where you basically, they're in the grocery stores that they don't have anymore, and you rent like a DVD. But they're bankrupt now, of course, right?
Oh man, it is DVD and Blu-ray season. If it is Christmas time and you don't know what to get someone, just find a Redbox, because they are bankrupt. They don't have any employees. They don't have any payment processing companies.
Yeah.
They don't even have the internet, I don't think. So if you go up to this Redbox and you just swipe a random piece of plastic, I think a movie will just shoot out.
Out of here.
I have seen people posting online their hauls of hundreds of discs, and they are clearing out these Redbox machines, and then they're keeping their fingers and toes crossed that these things don't just magically boot back up like Skynet and start charging them for all these credit card transactions.
Well, yeah, how could they? So you're saying you can basically take your hair comb and just like slide it, and a movie will come out?
That's exactly right, and you can have 100 copies of Barbie, just in case one of them scratched up or something. You got another one right
what
there.
What are we doing here? We're thinking that could be our Christmas bonanza. I know you have all your shirts from the Cardinal games. We could give everybody DVDs of Barbie. Did you see that movie? I didn't see it.
Of course I saw that movie.
Yeah, well, I've got
it was real
different-
cute, and it said, I am Knuff, because Ken was having an existential crisis where he thought he couldn't exist without Barbie.
Yeah.
And then it became a pro-man movie right there in the middle.
Oh, it was.
Where it was all about men and get the chicks out of here. And that was my favorite part. Yeah.
Okay, because I thought it'd be some kind of woke type of thing.
No, they kicked Barbie out of the dream house, and they took it over and made it a man pad.
Oh, yeah.
Just like you in your basement where you draw your little funnies.
Oh, no, I don't do it in my basement, because down in the basement, that's where Blake is. He's got his wrestling shrine, and he has his own little studio down there also, because he does his podcast as well. He's a lot like me, except I don't wrestle, except for Juice the dog. Did I mention Juice the dog is like a mix between a lab and an elephant? I think I did mention that. But no, I don't do my cartoons down in the basement, because that would be too depressing.
Speaking of Redbox, I used to work at Blockbuster.
Yes.
And we were going to do a fun little picture today where I brought in my old uniforms, and I promise I washed them 20 years ago, and they've been sitting in my closet ever since then. So they should be fine. Shouldn't be a single solitary bed bug in these jerseys that we're going to put on. But when I worked at Blockbuster, it was the greatest job you could have.
I bet.
Got unlimited rentals of video games and movies, could take home popcorn. Some of this was shoplifting, but I worked there, so I knew where the security cameras are pointed. And there was a few things that happened. You know, I
like what?
did receive some pornography in the Dropbox once.
Was
somebody
it good?
put the wrong DVD in the case, and then you have that guy's phone number, and you call him up, and you decide, do you just blow up his whole family life? And you say, excuse me, miss, I think your husband... No, you don't do that. You got to play it cool. You got to say, leave a message and say, excuse me, I think you still have our movie. You need to return it.
Yeah.
Then the next day, plop, just a random disc shows up in the Dropbox.
Yeah.
And he didn't come in to get his porno tape.
Oh, did you save it?
I did save it. We passed it around. Everyone at Blockbuster
Holiday
got to
time.
take it home for a night.
Yeah, we could share that along with your DVDs from the Redbox. Speaking of pornography, here's this thing on the news. I mean, I've heard it now a few times. There's some police officer, I think up in North County or North St. Louis, and he's in trouble, get this, because he's been pulling people over, or I guess they had offenses and things like that. But when he would pull them over, he would take their phone. These are women. He would take the woman's phone, all right? And apparently these women would have like nude pictures of themselves on the phone that he would screenshot and keep, okay? And I'm thinking, all right, well, first of all, I want to say, I don't know about you, but do you have naked pictures of yourself on your phone?
I currently don't. No, I'm very much in love with my lady, so she knows what it looks like. She's kind of bored by seeing it, actually.
I bet. But even if you didn't, I mean, and then it turns out that it's more than one. So I asked my wife, what is it with all these women and the naked pictures of themselves on their phone? Is this something that women do? And she didn't answer me.
It reminds me of when you're getting pictures together for a funeral. Everyone's so excited to send you photos of the loved ones.
No.
And then you have the grandparents, and they take the picture with their phone of another picture on a wall that has the glass, and then they text it to you, and you have just taken it to 3 different levels of crap.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm supposed to put this up for a funeral? What are you doing? So this officer, he is taking pictures of someone's phone with his phone.
Right.
I mean, the resolution is going to be terrible. How can you do any sort of wanking with that sort of pixelation and weird angles? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a terrible situation. I would have just emailed it to myself. No, then I guess that would leave a trail as well. I don't know how you'd get you'd ask permission next time. That's what I would do.
Well, I don't understand. What is it? Just the area? Because again, it's not just one random woman that apparently likes the look of her body because she takes pictures of herself naked. No, it's like more than one.
Well,
and he's like, and he's got them. He's got these photos. And you know what I would say? I'd say, hey, if you don't want people to know that you got all these naked pictures of yourself, I'd just be quiet. But no, now it's all over the news, and of course they want whatever they want, money or something like that, which they probably should have just gone on OnlyFans and done it and made more money to begin with, but they didn't take it that way. Speaking of back,
that was a little bit of victim blaming, but I see where you're coming from.
Well, that's what I do.
The young kids these days who are in the dating scene, you start out with a little bit of flirting. Hey, do you know any good jokes?
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie? Can you send me a DP, a little a dong pic?
Yeah,
it's back and forth.
What is that all about? Did you ever? I mean, I never ever dated anyone that said, hey, Todd, you seem like a nice guy. Send me a picture of your dong. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's ever happened. Because back then you had to go have them developed at the
Kmart,
at Kmart. And they would have thought, what is this? What is this? I mean, that's what they would have said. We voted the other day. Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes, we did.
You were sending me text updates. I was very proud of you.
I wanted you to know that I was actually doing my patriotic duty, and I was out there voting. I ran into Mark Reardon, by the way. I think I mentioned that.
You guys are bosom buddies, right?
Well,
From
we
back
went
in the
to
day?
high school together, and I got to tell you, I had on my News Talk shirt, okay, because I'm proud of my News Talk shirt. We're patriotic, and so I'm there in line. Mark comes out, okay, and it was like a 90-minute wait. Okay, it's no big deal.
He's a competitor. He's a
competitor.
radio guy. He's a competitor,
we
but friendly competition.
We went to high school together. I thought, hey, we're bros, man. No, I guess not. Anyway, so I don't know if you saw the News Talk shirt or what. You would have thought Mark, okay, had just been to like Taco Bell and it was starting to hit because he flew out. I mean, he did not want to even 2 seconds. I mean, and then he starts to panic. I'm trying to talk to him, and it was like I was on fire or something like that as as the Taco Bell beef burrito grande was about to explode. I don't know, but he flew out of there and didn't say 2 words to me.
Had his panties in a cinnamon twist. Had to get out of there.
He did. So anyway, I see people coming out of the room, okay, because you're at this giant – it was like being at a theme park, okay. You're in this giant line, you wait and you wait and you wait, and then, okay, it's over. Okay, but I'm almost at the point where you walk in the room, and people are walking out. And I say – now tell me if you would get upset about this. I say, just looking at people's faces, I can tell how they voted. With that 90% accuracy, the people walking out of the voting room, whatever you want to call it, the polling place. Why is it called the polling place? I don't know, but that's not part of the story. But I could tell how they voted by what they look like, because I really can.
What is the theory? Happy, sad? Who votes which, what, who?
There is just a look. Okay, now I'm sorry, but if anybody's offended by this, I don't care. You're listening to the wrong show. But there's a look that a lot of liberals have. They kind of like, first of all, they're not very happy. They don't walk out smiling and all that. They kind of have an angry look. This is a generalization, so if people want to be upset about it, hey, you're listening again to the wrong show. But usually, the conservatives just seem a little bit more, happy and clean and put together, where the liberals, they seem a little bit more disheveled and angry. It's just how, and that's just an observation that I made. It's all this projection stuff. They keep calling us names and everything when they're the ones doing all the mean stuff. Have you noticed that? It'd be like, and even going back to the whole garbage thing. Now, they're coming out. This is what they do. Okay, they say they just deny it happened. So Joe, he just goes out there and calls, anybody that likes Trump, all over the country, they're garbage. Okay, so what does the White House do? And they that Jean Pierre Peter, whatever her name is,
KJP.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. No, he said. He called everybody garbage. No, he didn't say that. Let me ask you something, Joey. Okay, have I ever on this show brought up midgets?
Yes, many times.
Nope. I never did, Joey. I never did. Never did. Nope. How can you prove it?
Well, the argument here is that he was talking about just Tony Hinchcliffe specifically was garbage. So in your case, it would be like you're only talking about your friend Stan the Little Man.
Right.
You're not mad at all midgets and think they're useless and don't show up to work on time. Just Stan the Little Man, who you've paid hundreds of dollars to show up at people's birthday parties and do a dance and jump out of the bushes. Stan Little Man has consistently let us down.
Blowing us off.
And he's garbage to us.
He is garbage. But no, Joe said, I think he just basically said everybody. Going back to Stan Little Man, though, I tell you what, when you pay somebody $200, and I say, and he said, what do you want me to do? I said, look, $200, just run around without a shirt on. It'll be easy. Okay, I'll do it. And then you don't show up. Okay. So, yeah, I am a little miffed about that. But back to Joe. No, he called everybody. He called anybody that if you support Trump, you're garbage. And he said it on the videotape. And then just like and then they say he didn't say it. So what? Did we just all imagine this?
It was a Zoom recording, and it just glitched out. You know how it happens. Garbage people.
Oh yeah. Do you ever do that?
I don't trust Zoom.
Do you do those at fast food restaurants though?
No, I would never. I don't mess with people, especially after Trump went to McDonald's. They've got a hard job.
All right, well, it's going to be a fun show when we come back. Mitch in the background doing his thing for the big November election kickoff. In the meantime, I'm Todd Schowalter along with my bestest buddy Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Schowalter, radio personality Daria Novak.
Are you like me and you like great books? Well, I found a place that has a lot of great books. A traditional publisher right up in Macon County, Deep Read Press. DeepReadPress.com, that's the website to find out exactly what they have. And again, they got traditional books. They are a traditional publisher. Deep Read Press does a lot of things that I particularly like, and most of them has to do with great books. So if you're looking for a publisher to publish, or if you're just looking for a place to find a lot of great books, it's Deep Read Press at DeepReadPress.com.
Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Schowalter on NewsTalkSTL. And now a man who went to go vote but was kicked out of line after giving wet willies to all the electioneers, Todd Schowalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Schowalter along with my buddy Joey V. Mitch in the background. And on the line now she's actually also a talk show host, Miss Daria Novak. How you doing, Daria?
Well, I really appreciate being here. I was born and raised in Connecticut. In 2016, ran for U.S. Congress in Connecticut with Trump at the top of the yard signs, my name underneath them, and I've supported the president since that time. I've got a background in foreign affairs, and I've really watched the issues very closely, and I spend a lot of time talking to people that are the everyday guy on the street and the neighbors that I have, rather than just listening to what the mainstream media says.
Okay, well, I do the same. And what kind of feedback are you getting? Because the feedback I'm getting is really interesting. One of the things I have these political signs, for example, that I've actually put out. Freedom, Trump freedom signs, and I people will come up to me and they'll say, hey, I really like your sign. And I'll say, great. Would you like one? No. And I say, are you voting for Trump? Yeah. I go, well, don't you want a sign? No. And so, I mean, I know a lot of people personally in my own space and neighborhood that I know are Trump supporters, but they're just afraid to show it. Are you getting that?
I'm seeing that a lot in my own neighborhood when I talk to people who are Trump supporters. They'll say, well, I was thinking of putting a sign up in my window because then no one could really trash the sign. People are scared, but I'm just the opposite. I'm literally thinking of taking another Trump bumper sticker and putting it on my trash can and put, this is who I voted for. I'm just so tired of people being disparaging about anybody who supports the Republican ticket or Donald Trump.
I'm the same way.
It really is sad.
No, it really is. It really, because it's so one-sided. I don't know how we got to this point, but I totally agree. In fact, there are some people that they're worried. They're afraid. Now, I personally, I have signs everywhere. I have a Trump sign. I have the signs I made. I have the other Republican candidates. I have my sign. That's kind of a joke type of thing. But it's all out there, and I don't care because even in the midst of liberal utopia, which is a sort of pretty much my suburb. I mean, they have all their crazy Harris Wall signs, which to me just kind of shows you're not too bright. Why do I have to be, afraid, or why do I have to even worry about showing that I'm intelligent and I support Donald Trump? Well, I think I'm going to bring this up because you worked with Ronald Reagan. I compared Donald Trump to Ronald Reagan on a lot of points. Do you see that?
I see a former president who will be in office come January, who is going to stand up for this country, who's not afraid to speak out and to say the truth. Mm-hmm. Now, I must say this. I also am contending with the fact as a woman about the way that he says things. That does impact me, but it's not going to change how I vote for this simple reason. I am looking at my vote is who will be the next best leader of our country, who mm-hmm. will provide for our national security and our domestic security? Who will other leaders around the world properly fear? And there's only one answer. It's Donald Trump.
No, I totally agree.
None of us is perfect.
No, and I think it's just blatantly obvious. I mean, when I try to explain it to liberal friends, it's very hard to explain anything to a liberal, unfortunately. But I equate it to a football coach. Okay, I mean, I say, do you want as a football coach, somebody that's nasally and a loser or whatnot, but can be pretty nice, or you say what you want, or be the type of person you wanted, but has a losing record? Or would you rather have a coach that's rather brash and abrasive but wins the Super Bowl every season? I mean, it's not about the person per se. It's about the policies. It's about the record, what you can actually do, and how you're going to make America great again. And I don't see how there's there's no comparison. I do not even know why this is even. It should already be done. I mean, I don't. And when I try to get any type of feedback from liberals or Democrats, all they really ever say is, "Well, we don't like Donald Trump." Well, what? How is that? I mean, save me here, Daria. I mean, because I get so.
Here's the reality. None of us is perfect.
No.
None of us on this planet has not made a mistake. So to me, it's not even just the lesser of two evils for who is running, which is typically what I'm hearing from the Harris people. Oh, but she's not as bad as. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it this way. Donald Trump has a proven track record. If you look at what he did for 4 years, he did what he said he would do when he campaigned. That's important to me. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe the man when he says he loves this country and he's intending on serving us as a people. This is a guy who has mega bucks. He doesn't have to go through this kind of garbage. He got shot, mm-hmm. and he's still running for office. If I were him, I don't know. I might have decided maybe it's a good time to retire. Mm-hmm. But he's not. He's serving the people. He has a purpose. I cannot understand for the life of me what Kamala Harris stands for, because she keeps changing her opinion on what she says. She tries to appeal to people to make herself sound less radical. And then the second thing that really bothers me, especially with my liberal friends, and I'm calling them acquaintances probably nowadays more than friendship or friends, is what did she ever do?
Right.
She failed as a DA. She failed to have legislation that was important put through the Senate when she's there. She certainly didn't do anything with the border. And here's the one that really gets to me. Did she know that the president had dementia? Because if she did, she failed us in a big way to protect this nation from someone who wasn't able to do the job. And if she didn't know that he had dementia, what about her judgment?
Absolutely. I mean, that very, very well said. And I've always said it when she was first even, chosen as the VP candidate. I mean, she was a Joe's security blanket. I mean, I think they weren't going to get rid of Joe because they knew if they did, they'd have her that would come in and screw things up even worse. So now we've got this situation where the media and who's obviously all left wing, I mean, have tried to sugarcoat everything and try to make these. It doesn't do anything for me, but everybody can see that, hey, this is still the loser that they had to begin with, and. Yeah, people buying this, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And when you think about it, I mean, she didn't win a primary. She didn't win it. She was basically installed, okay, I mean, after the coup that happened against Joe. So, I mean, it was all done by the Democratic Party to put her in place. And again, I've said it before, but to me, it seems very questionable about what's really going on. I mean, again, I don't know if Obama's behind some things or who's behind what, but is she just another puppet? Because Joe certainly wasn't running the country and still isn't running the country. So, I mean, you have to wonder about how everything came to be to begin with.
Well, think of it this way. When Biden decided to drop out, the funds that he had raised had to go to someplace, and they were very limited where they could go. She was on the ticket. She was legally allowed to accept the money into her campaign. If they had chosen another candidate, they would have had to have returned the donations that were collected for the Biden campaign. They were kind of stuck with this woman. Now, I don't know how any thinking individual can really believe that this person is competent. I've had Republican friends that are saying, well, maybe, good to have a woman as president. And all I could think about was the first woman president with no qualification. This is going to be a disaster for women in the future.
Exactly.
Because they're going to look at it and see this person who's incompetent, who literally, and I don't know whether I'd get in trouble for saying this on your show or not, but when I lived in California for a while, everybody knew about her personal relationship, shall I say, with Willie Brown, and how he gave her an appointment, and when she failed in her appointment and got fired, he gave her another one for which she was even less qualified.
Right.
This is not a woman who could even pass the bar exam on her first try. This is not some incredible person that we just need to have as president. She is a failure.
Tell us about your show, because you have a great show as well, and how can people listen to it?
Daria Novak Report. We're on every week, and you can go to amfm247.com, and you can pick up the show if it's not on in your particular media market, but we are in a lot coast to coast these days. The show's been on the air 12 years. It's hard-hitting, and we only tell the truth. And it's really important to us to have a high-quality show where we back up what we say.
Yeah,
so
I encourage people.
I'm enjoying it.
No, it's great.
Cathartic.
Yeah, well, and again, I mean, it's great to have, talk to you, another like-minded person. But again, it's a very informative show, and I urge everybody to go check it out. And it's always a pleasure to talk with you. And I hope the next time that we speak that we're celebrating.
We will be.
I don't want to jinx it, but I hope we are. I think yeah. Okay. Well,
I believe the American people after COVID had their eyes opened up. We're going to win.
Yes.
The American people will win.
All right. Let's go out there and do it. Thank you for joining me, Daria, and we'll look forward to the next time. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Daria Novak. So what do you think of that, Joey? I mean, it seems, I hope she's right. I'm one of these people that I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx anything. You obviously know what I'm hoping for, but are you superstitious in that way?
Well, it sounds like you voted on Tuesday. You early voted.
I did.
Did that feel dirty? And did you do anything to prepare? Because, usually Republicans, conservatives, they say vote on Election Day. But it's different in Missouri. This is the first year where we get 2 weeks to just go wild.
Well,
bring a camping chair. Bring your VR goggles.
So we basically did, and I did feel dirty because I hadn't showered. I went for a run in my News Talk STL shirt. My wife and I went up there, and we waited in line, and so dirty only to the effect that I was a little sweaty and gross.
There's been some controversy because the lines are wrapping out the door. So that means people can yell at you right there at 25 feet from the door. You got people handing you flyers, yelling about Amendment 3. Todd doing some stand-up material. You have to laugh.
Oh, you have to laugh. And what I did, I was just handing out random garbage that I had in my trunk that I was trying to get rid of. So somebody got like a receipt from Walmart. Somebody else got a coupon that had been expired. So I was able to actually clean out my trunk while I was waiting.
You want to sponsor the show? You want to sponsor the show?
I tried that too.
Here, it's only $125 a week. It's going up tomorrow. Get in quick.
That's what I did. So I made it very productive. Hey, when we come back, our buddy Bill McClellan is going to be joining us. My old neighbor, by the way. He said, make sure you talk loud because, I don't have a good connection. I don't know. What does a good connection mean?
I know that when we watched The Love Connection, Chuck Woolery would just make sure the guys were, had nice combed hair and their hearing aids were turned all the way up so they could hear the questions. So maybe we need someone like Chuck to get over there to our good friend Bill and just get him prepped for this big interview that's coming up.
Well, we'll see what happens when we come back.
Back in 2 and 2.
Back in 2 and 2. In the meantime, I'm Todd Schowalter along with my buddy Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Schowalter, our liberal friend Bill McClellan. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Schowalter on NewsTalkSTL. And now a man who's as healthy as a horse, strong as an ox, and talks a lot of bull, Todd Schowalter.
Yeah, we're back. I'm Todd Schowalter along with my buddy Joey V. And on the line now is somebody, again, I've known for, over 30 years, Joey. My old neighbor, my old friend, Bill McClellan. How's it going, Bill?
Hey, it's going well, Todd.
Well, I wanted to I'm going to cut right to the chase. I'm pretty sure that we canceled each other's vote out, so if you've done the early voting. So let's just get right to it. What is it going to take for all of us finally to unify and get along again?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how possible it is, and I have not voted yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I wait till Election Day.
Okay.
I like the crowds, but I'm sure we will cancel each other out.
Yeah.
And I suspect, as things are for Cub fans, that this will not end well for my team.
Oh, you don't think so? Well, I got to tell you, because you brought up the last time you were on the show, I guess it was back in late spring, you were the first ones that just went out there and said it, that Biden will not be the nominee. And for a while there, I had my doubts. I thought, well, maybe he'll still hang in there. But you hit that one right on the head. I mean, anything else that you think is going to happen that we haven't seen yet?
Well, no. And then the only reason I hit that one on the head, Todd, is I'm 77 years old, and I know that I don't think as quick as I used to, and I don't move as quickly as I used to, and things are just more difficult for me. I thought if Joe Biden had to go to the drugstore himself, for instance, he wouldn't run for president.
Yeah.
When you're out there in the world, you realize you're diminished, and I thought, he's like 5 years older than me, and I thought, it's just ridiculous to even think of him going on.
Yeah.
But as far as what's going to happen, in Missouri, being a Democrat is really difficult these days. And, our candidates have very little chance statewide. Mm-hmm. And I think Lucas Kunce is a fine candidate, and I don't like Josh Hawley, but I think Hawley will win easily. I think Crystal Quade's a good candidate, but I think Mike Keogh is not a bad candidate. I think he'll win easily. And, it's the party's fault in a sense, Todd, because, every time an administration changes, the new administration makes a lot of appointments, including U.S. attorneys. And when Biden beat Trump in 2020, Jeff Jensen, the U.S. attorney, resigned. And we all just waited to see who Biden would appoint. There was Reggie Harris, Gabriel Gore, Jimmy Edwards. There were a bunch of people, and everybody was excited. And Biden never did make the appointment.
Never did?
So,
really?
No. So Saylor Fleming, who was Jeff Jensen's number 2. And, people like her. She's a conservative Republican from Cape Girardeau. She has served these 4 years. And the Republicans, when they get a chance to make an appointment, they make one. Mm-hmm. And so I thought this, you can't grow the party when you don't make these appointments. So, in a way, the fix we're in is of our own doing. Yeah. But the only race that I'm really, keeping my fingers crossed about, but it's a long shot, is my good pal Ray Hartman.
I was going to ask you. Yeah.
And Wagner.
What do you think is going to happen with that? Because, we both know Ray. I mean, I used to work with him way back in the day, and obviously you guys are good friends from Donnybrook. I mean, do you think he has a chance?
Well, a slim chance. There's a couple things he's got going for him, I think. I mean, one, of course, is the abortion issue. Mm-hmm. Ann Wagner's big issues have always been pro-life and pro-gun. And right now, neither of those are too popular, and the abortion issue is going to bring women out to vote, and I'm hoping that they all float over to Ray. And the other thing is this, and she used to be a real country club Republican, a standard person, ran Blunt's campaign, was the co-national chairman for the Bushes. But she's really become a MAGA girl, just to survive. I mean, that's the new party, and I understand that. And when Bill Eigel recently announced that he was thinking of running in 2026, I guess it is, mm-hmm. That just ensures that Ann Wagner will be more MAGA than ever, because the only danger in her district really is from a primary challenge from the right. And knowing that Eigel is standing out there, she's not going to let any room come between her and Trump. Mm-hmm. And so there might be a few Republicans in the 2nd District who want to see Trump, but really don't want all the guardrails off.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by guardrails?
Well, the guardrails, the party used to, like Mike Pence was a guardrail. Mm-hmm. Liz Cheney. I mean, the traditional Republicans were there, and that's one thing about the two-party system is neither party wants to nominate somebody who's too off the charts. Mm-hmm. And I think that Trump is off the charts, and maybe people who want some guardrails, Congress, if nothing else, the Supreme Court doesn't look like it's going to stop Trump on anything. So, maybe there's people who will vote for Ray on that. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of them, mm-hmm. but there might be some thoughtful people who feel that way.
Well, he put his picture on his sign. Anybody can put their picture on their sign. I'm going to start doing that.
Right, you're talking about
his political signs. He put his picture on there. So, I mean, I thought that was, at first I thought it was a realtor, but I said, oh, no, it's Ray. No, I'm just kidding you. I'm just playing with you. But, well, going back to the candidates.
I don't drive around in the 2nd District much, but I don't think there's a lot of Ray Hartman signs out there.
Oh, I've got a few.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Well, going back to the other candidates, I mean, you're talking about, Trump, and a lot of people that, I've spoken with, I mean, as a Democrat, I mean, are people voting, do you think they're actually voting for Kamala Harris or against Donald Trump? Because a lot of people are saying to me, no, I just don't like Trump. I'm a never Trumper. What is your opinion? Do you think Kamala Harris is actually a good candidate?
Well, first to answer the first part of the question, I think that many, many people, if not most, are voting against Donald Trump rather than for Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. But I think that she's probably smarter and better than most people give her credit for. I mean, those California politics, that's rough stuff. And she not only was the attorney general out there, but then she won a Senate race, and there's a lot of competition. I don't think that Joe Biden served her very well, didn't give her any real assignments. I mean, that stuff about go down and see what the underlying causes are for the border. That doesn't help the person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's probably better. I mean, personally, did you follow the frontpage.com stuff at all?
A little bit.
Okay, Mike Lacey, who had founded the New Times in Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
was a friend of mine.
Okay.
When all the classified ads dropped in all the alternative weeklies, they started Backpage.com, which
Right.
for classified ads, and Kamala Harris, as the Attorney General in California, went after them hard, and really, I think that kind of led to the fact that the two guys that I know, Jim Larkin committed suicide on the eve of the trial, and Mike Lacey got convicted and is in federal prison now. And so, I have personal little animosity toward Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'd be hard for me to really warm up to her because, she put one friend of mine in jail and the other one killed himself. Although, at that time they were under federal indictment.
Yeah.
But she got the ball rolling. So I'm petty enough to hold that against her.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I have friends and stuff like that. But going back even when we first started talking, I mean, we talked about the unity thing. I mean, it just seems that everybody, again, I just don't get it, my friend. I mean, it's like, why? You're obviously very politically different than me, and vice versa. But we're friends. Why? What has caused all this? Do you think it's the media or what? Go ahead.
I remember as a kid when. And as a young man, and as a middle-aged man, whoever won the election, the other guy said, okay. In 1960 in Chicago, I was a kid, and we were convinced that Mayor Daley had stolen the election for Kennedy against Nixon. And, Nixon, hey, he accepted the results. It was very close. He presided at the certification, and he was on the platform, and then when Gore lost in whatever that would have been 2000,
right,
when Gore lost by less than 400 votes in Florida, as soon as the Supreme Court said that's it, the recounts are stopped, Gore conceded, and he presided at the certification as vice president, and he sat on the platform at the inaugural. Hillary Clinton sat on the platform at Trump's inaugural. Trump's the first guy who hasn't done that, who said, they cheated, they stole from me. And now he's saying at his rallies that the only way we lose is if they cheat. And they're already trying to cheat. So that's why it won't come together, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a chance that if Trump wins, the Democrats will just grit their teeth for 4 years. But Trump has set it up so if Harris wins, and the polls are, it's dead even. If Harris wins, Trump's already on record if this was rigged and stolen. So I don't think that anybody who's voting for Trump has any cause to talk about how, I long for the days when we were unified and got together, because Trump won't let that happen, and he's your guy. So.
Yeah, no, again, I wasn't really taking sides. It's just a matter of, it just seemed to be, I hate to use the word friendlier world, but I mean, like you said, I mean, people, they took the result and went on. But just in general, I mean, I just don't remember a time where things were so divided. We have Rich Rubino, who's a commentator that comes on. He says, well, during the 60s and the Chicago convention and things like that, it was. But even I don't think it was so. I mean, I just don't remember anything like this. And I just hope that.
No, I don't either. And I think really when you're talking about 68, in Chicago, that was more against the Vietnam War.
Right.
I mean, that was a particular issue. And the college kids, they were all ginned up about it because they didn't want to go. I mean, and I don't mean to denigrate them. I mean, I'm sure some of them felt that,
sure,
the war was wrong, but people were very emotionally invested in that. But it was an issue. This stuff now, it's not a single issue. It's not abortion that's driving people. It's not tariffs. It's hatred of the other side.
Right.
And I'm with you. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm afraid, especially if Harris wins, you guys will be marching on the Capitol again.
I don't.
And,
Well,
and I don't mean you, Todd. You didn't.
no,
But I mean
my knee's bad. My knee hurts.
Yeah. Trump is already ginning it up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, do you get, because I actually get from my cartoons, I get near death threats. I get, really hateful emails, you name it. You being on the Democrat side, I would hope, you're a legend here in St. Louis and beyond. Do you receive any feedback that's just so mean? And, I've been wished the most harmful things you could imagine, terrible things. Do you deal with anything like that?
Oh, some, but not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Now, I still write a column once a week.
Right. A great one.
Thanks. I often don't read comments just because, I'm like everybody. I wish everybody liked me.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not the life for a newspaper columnist. And, so I get a lot of people who are angry, and most often from the right, but a lot of times on the left, people feel like I'm just not steady enough, and I'm too rogue sometimes, and as we used to say, leave the reservation sometimes.
Yeah.
So I get notes of people who, or people who feel that I don't use this pulpit I have to really slug it out with the enemy, because I'd write silly love songs than Bob Bill or something. So,
well, yeah, and it's a different world.
It's hostile, but not, to me, not too bad.
Okay. Well, I guess what I really want to get to is the biggest question of the show here, and that is, last time I spoke with you, you said you were having the entire family out to San Diego. It was a big get-together. Are you all still talking?
Yes. It was a great time.
Oh,
actually.
Good.
And a matter of fact, we were my daughter and her kids, and my son and his wife and their kids, and it was, if anything, too hectic in a little cabin.
Okay.
A little cottage. And then happily everybody decided to go to Disneyland for a day. And I said, I think I'll just stay here at the beach and have a couple gin and tonics. And so they left for the Disneyland and didn't come back until 11:30. By which time I was already passed out, Todd. So
there you go. Okay, so your memory was great of it.
It was a really nice time, and I'm so blessed to have kids that get along with each other and get along with me. And of course, Mary gets along with everybody. So it was a great time. That's a great time.
Fantastic. I'm happy to hear it. Well, my friend, that's about going to do it for us here. But I guess the next time we talk, we'll obviously know who the winner is going to be. And regardless of who wins, you're still my bestest friend, buddy. Okay?
Well, hey, Todd, I wish you were still living in the trailer in my backyard.
Well, you know what? I may have to do that. So I was going to ask you if you still have a little plot of grass back there where I could pitch a tent.
Yeah, well, you know how they are on zoning issues around here. So.
I know, especially me, my friend. Well, thank you so much for joining me,
okay,
and have a great. All right, thanks, Bill. Bye. Great guy. I tell you what, I did actually live right back. Seriously, my fire escape backed right up to, I talk about zoning. I literally lived over his backyard.
Does he have the trailer still back there, or is it a garden now?
Nope, he sold that, and I was going to buy it back for my Todd dogs that I'm still trying to get going.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you had a good time today?
I had a great time.
Yeah, I did too. Well, I enjoyed talking with everybody. I was kind of all over the board, but hey, that's just par for the course, right?
How many leftover Trump signs do you have that say, free it on with your little cartoon
I got to tell you, I brought one here to the station because, again, I told you, I'm trying to give them away, and even the people that support Trump won't do it because they're afraid of getting egged, which I keep telling them, you don't have to worry about getting egged if you buy my insurance policy, and even then, if you do, I'm not going to do anything about it, but I will have $5.
What's so controversial about freedom? You don't even put a year on there. This is a sign that could be forever. It's timeless. You can put this up anytime.
They don't want freedom. I think if you're a socialist, you don't want freedom. You just want to be able to sit at home, get your government check and watch The Price is Right all day.
Now, I don't want to tell anyone how to vote, but remember to vote no on yes and yes on no.
Right. That's the other thing. They are kind of controversial. They don't make sense. Like sometimes if you're voting no, it actually means yes. And if you vote yes, it means no. It's very confusing.
What's your favorite number?
My number is probably the square root of pi.
These amendments only ever go to single digits, usually.
Or letters.
I wish we could vote yes on 1,242, like at the Chinese menu.
Yeah.
They have 300 items on the menu. Like, I'll take 147. You all cook it in the same pan, right? Like,
yeah,
it's gonna all taste the same.
It doesn't matter. It's all got the same thing in it, and it all tastes the same. We went to one place, and I'm going to call it quits, that it was a... I'm not going to call. I mean, they may want to be a sponsor. I guarantee you that they won't. But it wasn't even Chinese food. We went. There was nobody in the place. We go in there. I bit into the crab rangoon, and it was like pudding fell out of it from like 1960. It was quite bad.
A little Barbasol in there, a little shaving cream.
I don't know what it was, but no, it wasn't even the right color. Yeah, well, I guess we'll just cut that part. But who knows? Hey, well, I guess we'll go vote if we haven't voted. And if you haven't voted, go out there and make sure you vote, once or twice. Well, I think you can only vote once here in St. Louis, can't you? Missouri.
I haven't voted yet. I think I'm going to wait till Election Day. The problem is St. Louis County, they have 14 election places right now in the county.
Yeah.
But then when the polls open up, they'll have 220. So you're right. There may not be lines at all on Election Day.
There may not be. But, I just like the line so I can meet and mingle with people and watch them run away in fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always a good time. Well, I guess Mitch will take us out with whatever he's going to do. In the meantime, like I always say, if you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. I'm Todd Schowalter. You've been listening to The Right Mind Show along with my bestest buddy, Joey B. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Schowalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to StudioTodd.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, and always streaming online at NewsTalkSTL.com.